Hello boys and girls and welcome to the Monk Mode video. Monk Mode by Musa Khana. Win the game of life starting today. Now this is not going to be any other video that you're going to see on the internet. This is not going to be any other guru video which is like trying to motivate you or something. This is real life, real time action. अगर तुम जो मैं आज बातें करूंगा इन पे अमल दखल कर लोगे, जो मैं तुम्हें सीरीज ऑफ स्टेप्स बताऊंगा, जो मैं तुम्हें फाउंडेशन सेट करके दिखाऊंगा, अगर तुम उस पे अमल दखल कर लोगे, then I can guarantee with everything on my life that you will not fail. You will not fail after watching this video. And this video like took me a lot of time, and it's not just me wrapping up a video in a couple of days. This is my life's work, and honestly speaking, up to this date, there are a lot of things that even I didn't knew. Once I found out these methods to win the game of life, I was competing in another level, and I'm still competing in another level. In fact, to most of the people I see in life, and that doesn't mean in an egotistical way, it's just the truth, I don't even see them as competition. They're not even in the same league. Because जब आप इस focus से और इस monk mode से काम करने लग जाओगे ना, then you're gonna outcompete everyone in your competition. Like अपने circle के अंदर तो for sure, even you're gonna be competing with people internationally after watching this video. So watch till the end, and I'm telling you, man, like after you're done with this video, you're gonna be a different person. Like previous video जो आपने mindset के ऊपर सारी देख के आए हो, yes, that has reshaped your mind, that has given you a mission, a drive, a goal, but now it's time to put it all into a single focus and really give you the actionable items that you need to take today in order to succeed in life. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to get so disciplined and really master the art of controlling yourself. In business, or even when starting in sales or learning any skill or starting to reach out to clients, anybody can set a vision and a mission of some principles, right? Like, होता है हम एक goal set करते हैं, हम एक vision बनाते हैं, और उसके बाद, we get derailed, we get off track, and then we try to find another thing to do. It doesn't really take much to sit down and do this once. Like, write goals, plan and manifest your dream life. लोग करते हैं, लोग manifest की videos देखते रहते हैं, internet पे आते हैं, they are trying to do all of these like chants, all of these, I would say manifestation techniques, and they watch a reel, they get motivated to do it once, and then they, turn off the phone, and then they're back to their old shitty habits. But it is another thing of doing it consistently for months or even years. Done that matters. Not doing idhar-udhar ki cheezein jo tumhe sirf motivate kar rahi hai. What success takes is relentless discipline. और मैं आपको इस वीडियो में proper तरीके और proper चीजें बताऊंगा. So this video is divided into 5 parts. So the first part is why success is the sum of your human will. We're going to cover this in depth, right? Then the second part is discipline, the tool of the masters. Now, if you really think about it, discipline is what it takes. This is not going to be another video of me telling you go read a motivational book. This is not going to be another Gary Vee ki koi motivational video hogi, Andrew Tate ki hogi. This is really to build your discipline, the relentless discipline. I will tell you why it's a tool of masters. Then sacrifice. Sacrifice, giving up everything. Without really like the sacrifice. If you don't sacrifice for your goal will become the sacrifice. And मैं इसमें थोड़ा सा और आगे जाऊंगा deep. Focus, channeling your energy into a grid, right? And I'll talk about this later as well. And then consistency, unwavering commitment to your goal. Very, very, very important. Once you get all of these right, then the only thing matters is consistency. And that's very important, and we'll cover that in the future as well. So let's dive right into it, right? So part 1, success is equal to sum of your human will. Now, where are we right now? At this stage of the mindset, ठीक है, हमने आपका vision define कर लिया, mission and principle कर लिया, as well as who you are right now and who you need to become to make your vision or your mission become a reality, right? हमने एक baseline है, उसको set कर लिया है, and that's very important. So before even going forward with this video, I want you to think, if you haven't thought already, where are you right now at your life? What is this baseline? We'll call this a baseline, right? You need to define your baseline of where you are in your life. What have you done so far to be at this point of your life? And like, what are your skills or what are your capabilities that has made you come to this baseline of your life, right? And why is baseline important? Because हम यहाँ से measure करेंगे इस baseline से कि तुम्हारा progress कितना अच्छा है. For example, we're gonna track whatever you're doing now after having this baseline in your life. Are you going above this baseline or are you going below this baseline, right? And if you go above your baseline, that means you're on towards success. And if you're going below the baseline, that means you're going towards failure. And if you're stagnant right here at the baseline, that means you're stagnant. You are moving a little up, you're moving a little down, right? It's not bad, but it's not great, right? We want to always be at this point. And we'll talk about that. Iski main baat aage jaake karunga, but I just wanted you guys to know that at this point, in this stage of the mindset modules, you need to understand where you are at your current life, who you identify as, who you want to be in the future, what skills brought you here, what are your capabilities in life, where is the baseline. Okay? Now, the missing piece, really, right now, we know what we want and we know who we need to become to get it, right? But actually executing it and seeing it through the end, that's the hard part. That's the missing piece. And I've seen with a lot of students in inner circle and in other communities, wo to khair bilkul hi chhod hi do na, jisme main hota tha, and I've seen in other communities as well. Students come in, they watch one or two videos and then they don't even follow through. With inner circle, this is what I've seen, and I'm very proud of you guys, like even with the old members, they actually come in and do the work. Now, why am I even making this video? Is for the people that give up and is also for the people who are doing good. It's for both of those people, because this is the kind of video you're going to be coming back to over and over and over again. 5 years down the line, you could be seeing this video and you will be benefiting out of it. I promise you, with my life, I'm telling you, because this is the video that's going to keep you on track. Whenever you get detracked, you're going to come back to this video and you're going to see why you're getting detracked. Every time you're going to find that missing piece, right? So that's why this video is very important, and that's why I wanted to make this video, to really put your, like, all the energy जो तुमने चैनल किया ना, मैं उसको चाह रहा हूँ एक सिंगल फोकस में डालने को, ताकि अगले आने वाले मॉड्यूल्स में जो तुम्हारी ट्रेनिंग होगी, स्किल सेट की, क्लाइंट एक्विजिशन की, एवरीथिंग, आई नीड यू गाइज टू पुट सो मच focus on there and take out every distraction out of the way, that once you go into those things, you'll be unstoppable, right? So having said that, number 3, success is equal to human will, right? Study any insanely successful person and you will find that the height of their suffering and pain was equal to the height of their success. The reason they can take the suffering is due to their willpower, right? कोई भी successful बंदा life में तुम study कर लो, उनकी height of suffering जब थी ना, and the pain, that was equal to the height of the success. जितना बंदा ज़्यादा successful है, उतनी ही ज़्यादा उसकी suffering और उसकी वो होती है, the ability to take pain, the ability to suffer, right? Nothing comes great in this life without sacrifice. Like, you know, even when we're praying to God, God asks us nothing but sacrifice of time, right? Maybe sacrifice of resources as well. But it is sacrifice that God needs from us humans, right? I mean, I don't know if you're a Muslim watching this, you could be from India and could be from another religion, but really, like, even Eid ul-Azha pe, like, जब हम जानवर sacrifice करते हैं, why do we even do that, right? Because we're sacrificing something we love in the name of God. So, you know, we can get his blessings in return. So we can feed the poor. So we can take part of our soul, right? We sacrifice it, we suffer, and then channel that energy into your success, into the success of this life or the, you know, the hereafter. Really, and it's the same applies to this life as well. The more sacrifice you can give, the higher your willpower, the more you can suffer, the greater your success will be. And what is willpower? The ability to control yourself. Really, that's about it. तुम्हारे impulses, तुम्हारे actions, strong determination that allows you to do something difficult without giving up or getting distracted, right? Self-control. This is the most powerful thing any successful person has over you, right? Like, look at around you. कोई भी चीज जितनी भी मुश्किल हो तुम्हारे इर्द गिर्द, you know, the phones that have been built, the buildings or something, like something insane that you can't even fathom. You don't even know how this was, like, ये बना कैसे, how is this humanly possible, right? Think about it. All of those things have been made by us humans, right? Those people who build those things are just as much human as you, right? If they can do it, so can you. But the problem is that you think of yourself as less, you think of yourself as someone who cannot do it, and you think of yourself as someone who doesn't have control. You need to control your impulses and actions and really, really put work into what is important. So the question is, how do we get more willpower, right? एक तो चीज है ना कि कह दिया कि हाँ जी ये तो सही है, विल पावर आ जाएगी, ठीक है आप जो बातें कर रहे हैं, लेकिन हम किस तरह लाएं? The thing that people do wrong, पहले तो मैं ये बताऊंगा, is thinking, oh maybe I need to watch another motivational video, जैसे मैंने पीछे बात की, read another motivational book, more podcasts, I don't know, maybe another course on motivation even. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Motivation nahi. This isn't how you get motivated. In fact, really it's discipline. Discipline is most powerful thing for building energy and determination, and that's why it's it's called the tool of the masters, right? देखो, before we go into part 2, just want to say कि बहुत ज़्यादा लोग ना motivation पे rely करते हैं, and there's nothing wrong with that. Motivation is good. Watching motivational content from here and there, like from time to time, is good, right? I mean, obviously, you need to see someone else achieve those goals before you can even fathom them or dream about them. I do get it. But really, motivation always, sooner or later, it runs out. It always does. And then what happens is, like a drug, log motivation पे depend करने लग जाते हैं, right? And this is what losers do. ठीक है, motivation पे आपने depend किया, rely किया, लेकिन उस motivation को use करके you need to build a system of discipline, right? If you keep on relying on motivation, then you're no more than a drug addict. You become a loser. And that's not what winners do, right? Winners do not do this, and they really rely on discipline, not motivation. People are not motivated all the time. Pro athletes, pro businessmen, they're not motivated at all. Sometimes they're completely demotivated, but they don't stop. क्यों? क्योंकि उनका जो discipline है ना, it makes them keep going. मैं बता रहा हूँ तुम्हें, like pro athlete से लेके कोई भी top businessman, any person who is top in their field, like you can love something so much, but at the end of the day, when it becomes really your work, you stop loving it. Sometimes it becomes a drag. You don't want to do it. लेकिन आप अपनी life में ऐसे systems build करते हो जो कि आपको मजबूर करता है वो चीज करने पे, and you do it over and over and over again. It becomes second nature. It becomes your life. It's not temporary, right? So अगर तुम चाहते हो कि तुम next level पे जाओ, you have to forget about motivation, right? Having motivation is not bad. If you have it, use it. If you don't worry about it. Build discipline, and that's the part 2 that we're going to talk about. Now, discipline, the tool of the masters. देखो, सबसे पहली चीज है इसमें self discipline. It's the ability to control your feelings and overcome your weaknesses, and it's the ability to pursue what you think is right despite temptations to abandon it. और अगर तुम वाकई चाहते हो ना कि तुमने self discipline build करना है, then you need to delay gratification, right? The secret of self discipline is to train yourself to think long term and live in accordance with your long term goals. ठीक है? This means you've addicted to long term gratification, not instant. Instant gratification is the biggest enemy of us humans in this day and age. I mean, that is how they get your attention, and that is how they manipulate you, right? Like, it's all over Instagram, it's all over TikTok, and it's getting worse and worse by the year. Every month now, every day, every week, there's a new news going on. Literally every day you wake up, there's something new going on in the world. There's, another OF model that comes in front of your face. It's really, really hard. I'm not kidding when I really say it. Like, we're entering World War III, sure, but really the World War III is a spiritual war. It's the war on your minds. And the weaker your mind is, the more instant gratification you chase, the easier it is to control you, right? Instant gratification. It is the desire to experience pleasure or fulfillment without delay or deferment, right? Basically, it's when you want it and you want it now. Shit like social media, likes, comments, views, news, unhealthy food, smoking, drugs, TV shows, movies, gossiping, porn, everything, man. And ये तो मैंने कुछ बातें बताई हैं, और भी लोगों की क्या-क्या addictions होती हैं. Now, I am guilty of being on social media, but really the only reason I'm really there is because of my work. But really, it's for prospecting, it's for making content, it's for educating, it's for inner circle. Yeah, and I do make vlogs. I put out there. But really, honestly speaking, that also is kind of a memoir. But कहने का मतलब ये है कि I produce more than I consume. If you think about it, humans are really not meant to be consumers, right? We were always meant to be creative. We were always meant to produce. Either it's reproducing, or either it's making tools, or either it's making something that progresses life. But when we are consuming more than we're producing, that's when depression hits, right? That's when it really feels like that you're going below your baseline. So again, this instant gratification of views, likes, comments. Sometimes मैं तो अपने comments पढ़ता भी नहीं हूँ. I've really sometimes it's really important. Like, कुछ बातें अच्छी भी होती हैं, but I try to avoid it because I know once I start reading it's gonna fuck up my whole day. Because I could be seeing all the good comments, and then one bad comment can really, sometimes hurt for no reason. And then that's gonna hurt my creativity. That's gonna hurt my focus. And even if you're not, internet celebrity, or you're not big on the internet, it still happens on the minute level as well. It does, and I've seen it, right? ये जो ठर्क होती है like, comments की, views की, सबको होती है. And the news is a big one. I know it's very cool, and it has been cool to be aware of what's going on in the current affairs of life. And बहुत ज़्यादा लोग कहते हैं कि जी हमें पता होना चाहिए दुनिया में क्या हो रहा है, कब दज्जाल आ रहा है, ये वो चीजें. Okay, that's fine, that's great. And I'm gonna tell you from experience, I know the full rabbit hole. I've been ये जो बातें लोग अभी कर रहे हैं ना सीक्रेट सोसाइटी चीजों की, I've known this for 7-8 years. मुझे पता है कि क्या म्यूजिक इंडस्ट्री में चल रहा होता है. मुझे पता है कि मैं बहुत देर से इन चीजों को पता है. Now it's cool to talk about it, And when I tell people not to go into this, some people really resist. They think that मैं लोगों को time waste करने को बता रहा हूँ. मैं उनको कहता हूँ कि अपने life पे focus करो, family building पे, पैसे बनाने पे. People think I'm crazy. But really, what I've noticed from years on end, every time we get distracted with news, right, it's just like nothing really happens at the end of the day. And even if something's gonna happen, you're gonna know it regardless, right? It's not like कि अगर तुम उसके लिए better prepare हो जाओगे तो तुम्हारे अंदर कुछ super powers आ जाएंगी या पता नहीं तुम like shelter बना लोगे कोई. Not really. Like 99% of you won't be doing anything after you hear the news, good or bad. So just ignore it altogether. You know some of these things, okay, like कुछ चीजें हैं जो important है, पता होनी चाहिए, awareness होनी चाहिए, right? And that's about it. But don't get fixated on this shit. Unhealthy food is another one. You guys need to avoid this like a plague. ठीक है, कभी-कभी चलता है, रेस्टोरेंट में बाहर गए, खा लिया, पी लिया, but really like I'll talk more about this later, but really you need to fucking eliminate this shit. Like I'm being for real, dead ass. Like don't eat unhealthy shit. ये snacks हो गए, ये तुम्हारी chocolates हो गई, ये चीजें हो गई. This really pollutes the mind, right? It's not even about your stomach, your, I don't know, your liver or whatever have you, or your colon. It's really about the mind. Your mind, like I'm going to talk more about it when we go on the focus part of it, but you know, unhealthy food slows you down. In fact, we humans shouldn't be even eating like 3 meals a day. That shit is something, you know, made by the Rockefeller Foundation, the same guy who wanted a nation of workers and not thinkers, who designed the full education system, the healthcare system. Like who says, right? 3 meals a day, breakfast like a king, buffet like a chimpanzee. Like you don't need that shit. Smoking, a big one, and something that I've been doing. I mean, I'll admit it, I've been doing for a long time, and I quit it recently. So I started smoking back in college when मैं जब freshman year में था, and that was really because one of my roommates, or like, you know, मेरे dorm में होता था, सामने बच्चा smoke करता था, and I, like college used to be depressing at times, and I didn't know better how to fight this, so I thought maybe I'll start smoking and then start talking, and then that became a habit. और फिर for the next 2 years I kept smoking, and then I quit it after my dad's passing away for 3 years, and I got back to it. But now I quit it because I know how much it hurts my productivity. I know how much it hurts like my long-term health. I know how much it hurts my family, right? And it's just adding a drag into my life. Like you get a high or like, you know, a dopamine hit, but really that is the thing you need to avoid. Anything that spikes your dopamine, you need to get rid of it. Any stimuli that spikes, you need to get rid of it. And I'm going to talk more about it in the next part. TV shows. फजूल के जो आजकल लोग TV shows देख रहे हैं, like Bridgerton, like Game of Thrones पहले हम देखते थे. Like, okay, yeah, you might think that TV shows say you learn a lot and shit like that, but really, the time that you give into those shows, what are the outputs you're getting? I'm briefing this now, but I'm going to talk about it more later. How inputs are not equal to the outputs. Movies, gossiping, you know, constantly talking about other people, constantly talking about, you know, the current affairs of the world. Like porn, a big one. And this is something like, sometimes it's not even your fault. It's like everywhere. You know, you open Instagram, porn. You open TikTok, porn. Like, you know, it's almost like living in America, it's porn everywhere. You go to the gyms, and I'm sorry to say if a woman is watching this, but yeah, man, the clothes the girls are wearing nowadays, and it's like, you know, it's everywhere in your face, and it's not even their fault. This is what the society pushes them to do. But you need to be self-aware. You really need to be self-aware to avoid this shit. Like, I'm being for real. Like, iski baat karte hain aage. But, you know, how do we even do that? So here are the 13 things you need to do, and these are the iron things, and I want you guys to maybe take a screenshot of it, maybe print these rules out and put it up on your wall. The number one thing is resist impulses. Resist all urges to eat, drink, snacks, grabbing phone in between, and that's a big one. Grabbing phone in between. You need to shut that shit down. You know, it's almost funny कि like हम इतने automatically wired हो गए हैं कि आपको सोचना भी नहीं पड़ता. आप अपना फोन उठाते हो और सीधा Instagram का वो icon click करते हो without you even thinking. Like, be honest with me right now, you guys are watching. How many of you really think that you're going to Instagram? It's like, you know, once you learn driving, you're driving, and sometimes you don't even know you're driving until you get home. It's one of those things. Like, you're so unconscious about it. Your subconscious mind has fed you that. Like, it becomes almost second nature. You go to Instagram, you scroll, then you go to TikTok, you scroll, then you go to some other site, and eventually you watch something that you shouldn't be watching, and then one thing leads to another, and off to like bad sites, or off to you wasting your time. And then, you know, really the concept of time is really a death by 1,000 cuts, if you really think about it. And what do I mean by death by 1,000 cuts? That means that these small little things that you do, like अपने कंप्यूटर पे फोकस करके बैठे हो, अब उठ गए हो तुम्हें बाथरूम याद आ गया, अब तुम उठ गए हो तुम्हें स्नैक याद आ गया करना, बीच में तुम्हें अब चार्जर लेने के लिए दूसरे कमरे में जा रहे हो, एंड देन फिर अब यू नो निब्बा निब्बी की कॉल आ गई है, वो लेनी है, फिर तुमने फोन बीच में उठा लिया. Like all of these things, yeah, going out about to eat food, like whenever you do all of these things, it's not a quick 5-minute break or it's not a quick 10 minutes break. The minute you break your focus, it's really hard to get back into the zone, right? Sometimes it takes like 20 to 30 minutes to get back into the zone of the focus, and you cannot by any means break it that easily. If you do, you're just going to be repeating the cycle over and over again, and that's what it means by death by 1,000 cuts. You give these tiny little cuts to your body, one after the other, and then it all stacks up to one big death, right? 1,000 cuts on your body resulting in death. And that's what you really do. That's how you waste your time every day. And this is a big one right here, right? And then the second thing is really you need to love pain. Like really, really love pain. This kind of seems like an oxymoron to you, right? Love and pain in the same. But really, like every day, take yourself to the dark places, confront difficulties. Like apne dimag mein apne aap ko darkest places pe leke jao. Feel the pain and love it like a maniac. I'm not even kidding. Like you might be thinking I'm trying to turn you guys into Joker, but really I'm not. This is another level of maniac, right? The kind of maniac that heroes tend to be, right? Like the life has been so full of misery for them that eventually they start laughing at that misery, right? Literally laugh at your misery. If you don't do it now, others will when you give up later. You understand what I'm saying? Laugh at your misery, and if you don't laugh at your misery now, others will when you give up later, right? So either you laugh at your misery or you let others laugh at your misery later on. You pick your poison, because misery is coming one way or the other. You go through the misery, you love the pain, you really love that sucker and eat it up, or you let other people laugh at you when it will be really hard for you to get back up on your feet. Make a decision. Exercise has always been a big and important one, right? Work out the first thing in the morning if you can, and I really mean it, right? Now I'm going to give you two options over here, because for some people there might be privacy issue or something, and they might be far from the gym. Maybe there might be it's hard to work out at home. Either you work out first thing in the morning, small workout, right? Push-ups, sit-ups, or walk, but do something every day after you wake up. Love the burn, get the blood flowing. It's hard in the morning, but you get it out of the way. But, and a big but, right? Not this but. Okay, I'm not going to draw the but, but anyways. I'm talking about if you cannot do it, you have some disability, God forbid, or something. Well, even if you have a disability, you can always get the blood flowing. But I would say get up every day, and the first thing you need to do is sit your ass down and start working, right? Like even before brushing your teeth. Or if you want to brush your teeth, fine, but don't check your phone. Get to your laptop and start looking at the task that you're going to do throughout the day. And then in the middle, while you're working, get some push-ups in, right? Sit-ups, walk. Don't just sit on your ass every day. In fact, if you need to take a break from your desk, get up, walk, get the blood flowing, and then come sit back down. But exercise is very important. The best one you can do is, if you can, go 3 days a week and do heavy lifts, right? 3 days a week and go lift heavy. And I'm telling you this for girls and boys, right? Now, लड़कियां जो होंगी वो legs पे ज़्यादा focus करती हैं, glutes वगैरह पे, and boys, they focus on the upper body, although they should focus on the legs as well. But really, focus on the compound lifts, right? For chest, focus on incline bench press, right? For legs, if you don't want to do squats वो जो, पीछे वजन पकड़ के आप नीचे बैठते हो, do like leg press. For the back, do lat pull down. Lat pull down होती है वाली मशीन नहीं होती जो यूं करके लगी होती है और यहाँ पे आपका हाथ होता है और आप इसको यूं करके नीचे खींचते हो, right? Do that, right? Like do heavy, lift heavy, right? But don't lift heavy to the point where you fuck yourself up. Be careful. Hire a gym trainer if you can, to be very honest with you. The ones that are on your ass. I'm being legit, right? But that will help you create discipline. Eat clean. This is even more important. Get a healthy diet plan and stick to it. The best case scenario is to eat one big meal a day. And I really mean it. That's it. In the morning, if you want something in the morning, right, you cannot live without breakfast. Just have 2 to 3 boiled eggs, some coffee, tea, and continue your day, right? But honestly speaking, mera best time hota hai once meal a day is around like 3-4 p.m. or maybe like 5-6 p.m., right? Whenever you think it's comfortable for you, I would say stick to a 1 meal a day diet. If you really have to eat 2 meals a day, sometimes ठीक है घर में नहीं चल रहा वगैरह या कहीं बाहर निकल गए या दोस्त आ गए कुछ हो गया कभी ना कभी हो ही जाता है फैमिली के साथ, that's fine, but always come back to this, right? Like I don't care if you're hungry in the middle, chew gum, drink more coffee, do whatever the but don't be eating too much. The more you eat, the more sleepy you get. So really, eat a clean diet, take care, proteins okay, clean carbs, healthy fats, and focus on that, right? Meditate, right? Pray every day. If you're a Muslim, you should definitely pray every day. And even if you're not, do whatever prayer you do, but be mindful, right? And if you're like praying, I would also suggest, right, if you don't pray, which you should, honestly, I should just take this out. Balki meditate also. I would highly suggest before sleeping, right? If you're on your bed, right? right? Meditate for 10 to 20 minutes. And all you really need to do is just sit like a monk, ठीक है? चौकड़ी मार के, अपने हाथ side पे करके, अपने चौकड़ी के ऊपर, and then just focus on your breathing. Literally focus on your breathing, and like when you're focusing on your breathing, like focus on your air getting into your nose and going to all parts of your body, right? If this is your body, right? Like the air is going in and it's going to all parts of your body, right? You need to focus on that. And then when you're exhaling, exhale through your mouth and let out a big exhale. So what you're going to do is you're going to inhale for 4 to 5 seconds. You're going to hold it for 4 to 5 seconds and then exhale for 4 to 5 seconds, or maybe keep in for 7 seconds and then exhale, right? Whatever, is the best for you, but do it every night. Make it a habit. Put an alarm, like put it in your diary, but put it somewhere that you need to do this every night, right? It's very important. And then sleep is another one. Really, sleep is discipline and fuel for the mind. Make sure to go to bed and wake up the same time every day. Now, I'll be honest with you. This is something that I have had the most struggle with. And the reason is because I really have a bad case of, like sleep apnea. For real, like मुझे खराटे भी आ जाते हैं अक्सर वगैरह, और मैंने check भी करवाया था, and something that I'm honestly working on. I think it's because of my sinus. But I try my very best still to be on par and on schedule. If I cannot sleep the same time every day, I wake up the same time. And sometimes there are days where I cannot wake up by the dot. So what I do is, if I wake up from 9 to 10, right, that is my waking up window, right? So 1 hour ki main waking up window rakhta hu apni. So select your time. And why do I say that? Because if you don't bolt down your routine from both ends, you wouldn't be able to know ki yaar kaun se time pe tum sabse zyada active ho. Your body wouldn't be able to, release the proper chemicals and the proper energy doses and the proper, like your body wouldn't be on a proper time clock. It will be just acting randomly. Or फिर let's say तुमने कभी meeting लेनी होगी 11 बजे सुबह के 12 बजे, you wouldn't even know, because like if you would be up at that time, right? So that's why you need to bolt that shit down. Now if you want to wake up in the morning, that's fine by me. If you want to wake up in the afternoon, fine by me. But make sure that you wake up at the same damn time. And I would honestly suggest, if you can do the morning, it's better. I used to be a big advocate for night, but when you're building out and really you cannot focus any time other than the night, that's not a problem when you're starting out. But once you build yourself enough, I would highly suggest you go back to the morning routine, because it's really important, right? And I have to do that because I have my family, right? My wife and my kid, and they're early birds. So, something that living with them has changed, and, really I do the same now. But to be very honest with you, it's always beneficial. Just remember, bolt down, like put a bolt on your sleeping time and your waking time. And trust me, that will really help you build up a proper schedule. Now, this one is overlooked by a lot of people, but it's really important, which is organization. Keep your office, house, car, drawers, desktop, email, and everything in your life clean and organized. And I really, really mean that. Okay? Again, a big problem I used to have, and once I started solving it, I really, really saw a big shift in my productivity, on my focus. Because, जब इंसान अपनी लाइफ में क्लटर देखता है ना, तो उसके दिमाग में भी क्लटर भर जाता है, और फिर बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है उसके लिए अपने टास्क को ऑर्गेनाइज करना. तो जब आप अपने कमरे में बैठते हो और अपने ऑफिस में बैठते हो ना, ये जो आपका वर्क स्टेशन है, मेक श्योर बिफोर either sitting on it or before leaving that, like before going to sleep, you organize it, right? अगर उस पे किताबें रखी हुई हैं, अच्छी तरह स्टैक करके सारी चीजों को रखो, अपने कीबोर्ड को, अपने माउस को, अपने वर्क स्टेशन को, keep it clean. Nobody likes to work on a messy desk, right? Your house, if you have an apartment, you're living alone, keep that shit clean, right? Pick a day or two, Saturday, Sunday, and make a habit of cleaning it. And if it's taking your time, hire a maid or get a cleaner. You can hire a maid in Pakistan and India, or over here you can get a cleaner too. ठीक है? कार, अपनी गाड़ी को साफ रखो, ये तुम्हारी सवारी है. It should always be clean. Your drawers, तुम्हारे टेबल की drawers है सारी, तुम्हारा डेस्कटॉप, तुम्हारा कंप्यूटर का फाइल्स, फोल्डर्स, everything needs to be organized. जो भी फाइल्स जहां पे हैं वो उनको प्रॉपर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में रखो. अगर नहीं रखोगे, it's always going to take up more time. Maybe in the future you're looking for something, your file that is missing, it's going to take you more time. And what we're really doing here is we're, avoiding chaos, and we're building a proper system that will keep us efficient and make us lose less time, right? Emails apne, and everything in your life you needs to be organized, right? I'm telling you, if you don't build this habit right now, it's going to be like after 25 or after 30 years, it's going to be really hard. And I know there's some people who are 25 years or older, 30 years or older. I do get it, but I'm just saying you can still do it right now, but stay clean. Another one, be presentable, man. Looking like a bum is never how efficient people operate. Look clean and presentable no matter where you go. If you want to be successful, then dress for success. Like आज तक लोग कहते हैं कि यार ये सक्सेसफुल बंदा मार्क जकरबर्ग
गया है, कोई और है, ये देखो टी शर्टों में पजामों में घूम रहे हैं. No, not when they were coming up. It's really, really important for you to dress for success. Those people, when they were coming up, they did do it, right? और अब वो उस तरह की चीजें पहनते हैं because they don't need to be the best dressed person. They will just enter the room and people will know who they're talking to. You're not there, so you don't get that luxury. And to be very frank with you, अगर मार्क जिंगरबर्गर और ये सारे लोग अभी भी अच्छे कपड़े और टिप टॉप पहन के रहना, they will get more respect. I 100% guarantee you. Nobody loses respect when they look clean, they look nice, they look like you're groomed right, your clothes are looking clean, right? If you don't have a lot of money to buy new clothes, make sure you iron them, make sure you wash them, make sure you clean them, put on a nice smell, right? Whenever you're going outside, don't fucking look like a bum. You know, like people really make their first impression the first to 5-10 seconds. And if you're especially going to sales, that's the last thing that you want to look like, a bum. So when you're closing calls with your clients, when you're taking virtual calls, when you're meeting them in person, I always want you to look presentable, right? Really, really look professional. Wear a nice tie, right? A clean, crisp collar shirt, maybe wear a coat, look nice, बाल अच्छे से बने हुए हैं, सारा कुछ सही है, मुंह धो के आओ. Like you're going, अगर बाजार भी जा रहे हो ना, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा बाजार सूट वूट डाल के चले जाओ, लेकिन जब बाजार भी बाहर जा रहे होते ना, you never know who you're gonna come across. अच्छे बन के निकलो, you know? मतलब ये तो हमारा इस्लाम भी कहता है. And if you're an Indian or somebody else watching this, I'm just giving an example of our religion, right? Like, you know, अल्लाह खुद एक इतनी खूबसूरत बीइंग है जो हम इमेजिन भी नहीं कर सकते. तो उसको तो अच्छा लगेगा कि उसकी जात खूबसूरत हो. So what the are you guys doing? Like, you know, being like, I still see some people complete bums, man, like complete idiots. Like, don't do that, right? I'm not telling you to buy the new Armani suit or ye wo falana hai Gucci or ye wo. I'm just telling you, whatever you wear, make sure you look clean and presentable. Time management. Plan your monthly goals, then plan your weeks and days accordingly. If you can, plan out a day schedule for maximum optimization, stick to it and say no to everything else. Like, I really mean it. Apna pure monthly goals likho ek sheet of paper पे. In fact, buy a notebook and like just dedicate that notebook to your goals and to your dreams. And every month I want you to write down your goals, the big goals that you want to achieve. Then break those goals down to weeks. And then every day write the task that you need to do to achieve those goals in the week, right? You really need to write that down. You're not going to give life to it until you really write down with a pen or pencil. Write it down. Words are energy, spoken or written. So you need to do that and you need to plan out your day. And if you cannot plan out your day, write your to-do list every day if you can, right? We need to optimize. And I promise you, once you start doing it, you will be so ahead of others that तुम्हारे पास तुम इतना कुछ दिन के अंदर कर लोगे, तुम कहोगे कि यार मतलब मेरे पास और भी कितना टाइम है, इसमें मैं क्या करूं? I'm telling you right now, you need to do that. And then set goals. And monthly goals are good, but I need you to set down big goals. And I've talked about it before as well. But always look at your vision, mission, annual goals, monthly goals, and write them down. Really, really sit down, make a dream book, right? Like, you know, एक notebook रखो छोटी सी and write down your dreams. You know what? I will print a file for you guys और मैंने नीचे resources में लगा दूंगा, ठीक है? तो जो आप ये वीडियो देख रहे हो ना, उसके नीचे जो फाइल्स ही लगी होती, वहां पे मैं आपकी ना एक पूरी डॉक लगाऊंगा जिसके ऊपर it will be written your career dream list, right? Now what you need to do is just, you're gonna open that doc. You know what? I was gonna add this in another video, but really I thought I would just add it over here as well, or maybe just add it here in general, okay? And this is the dream list document, right? Now this is a document that you will go to after this video, but let me just show you what it, you know, entails, right? So if you go to that document, this is what you're gonna see, ठीक है? Now यहाँ पे ये सब सारी चीजें लिखी है ना, इसको आपने लिखना ना, मैं पहले ही बता दूं यार, बहुत से लोग क्या करते हैं, मेरे से एडिटर एक्सेस मांग रहे होते हैं. डोंट आस्क मी फॉर द एडिटर एक्सेस, जस्ट मेक दिस लाइक, गो हियर, ये फाइल को क्लिक करना है, मेक अ कॉपी. ये देख रहे हो, इसको क्लिक करोगे तुम्हारी अपनी डॉक की कॉपी बन जाएगी. वहां से यू कैन स्टार्ट मेकिंग योर चेंजेस. यू गोना कॉपी द सेम थिंग. लाइक ये देखो, ये मेक अ कॉपी पे क्लिक किया, कॉपी ऑफ ये जो भी तुमने उसका नाम रखना है, ठीक है? एंड देन यू गोना मेक अ कॉपी, राइट? एंड देन इट्स गोना टेक अ लिटिल व्हाइल, या, एंड देयर यू गो. एंड देन यू कैन मेक as many changes as you want to it. Right now, getting back to the video, right? So I just want to start this with a real quick quote, which is, visualize this thing that you want, see it, feel it, believe it, make your mental blueprint and begin to build, by Robert Collier. So again, whatever you want in this life, this all starts with a dream. You know,
with the manifestation of that reality in your mind. Okay? So what I want you guys to do after you watch the whole video, I know I'm breaking off from the video, but we'll go back into it, is write your dreams and goals that you've already accomplished in your life, right? Could be 5, 6, 4, whatever have you. Write them down. और उसके बाद मैंने 5 से 6 कैटेगरीज में अलग डिवाइड किया हुआ है. तुम्हारी ड्रीम करियर गोल, however outrageous it is, write it down. My financial dream or goal, write it down. My health and fitness dream goal, ठीक है, write it down. Lifestyle dream or goal, write it down. Relationship dream or goal, write it down. Mental and spiritual dream or goal, write it down. In fact, I would urge you guys to not just write it on your computer. इसको print करा लो. So what you're gonna do is make a copy and then get it printed. If you don't have a printer at home, get it printed somewhere and write it by your hand. Write it by the pen and pencil and really be serious about it, right? Write this all down and I want you to paste these on your wall. Like put it on your wall somewhere and every day I want you guys to look at it because it's really, really important, right? And जो मैं पीछे तुम्हें बात कर रहा था about the book, right? Not the notebook that you're gonna keep like a copy, ठीक है? वो तुम रखोगे अपने इधर monthly goals के लिए, किधर मैंने लिखा था? Yeah, here, right? Like when you're gonna plan your monthly goals, then you're gonna plan your weeks and days. That's where you're gonna put in your notebook. But these are the big dreams that you want to achieve in your life. You need to put it, right? Because I tell you guys time and time again, you could be the best marksman in the world, ठीक है? तीरंदाजी तुम्हें best आ सकती है, but अगर तुम्हारे पास aim नहीं है ना hit करने के लिए target को, then you are no better than someone who doesn't know how to aim. Like you don't have a target, you'll be aiming anywhere, right? You are lost, you're clueless. I'll talk about this in a bit, right? And then 11th thing that you need to do out of our 13 things is gratitude. Always looking to the future will cause you anxiety, fear, stress. Practice thankfulness to God every day. You know, जब भी तुम सुबह उठते हो या रात को सोने से पहले नमाज पढ़ते वक्त, you know, if you're not a Muslim, if you're someone else, like whatever you're doing, just practice thankfulness, practice gratitude every day, right? Like we humans, we bitch and moan every day so much and it's so ingrained. हमारी family से चीज आती है, हमारे खानदान से वगैरह से कि हम ये नहीं सोचते कि we get to live another day, right? Like you guys don't think about it, really. Like you really don't think about it. Like people who are stressing over war, stressing over like the files and everything, really like just be thankful that you get to live another day in your body, man. Like you have a healthy mind. You don't know how big of a deal that is. I'm really telling you, right? And जब आप gratitude वाली energy के अंदर आते हो ना, then God and universe gives that back to you. Like I'm telling you, when you bitch and you moan, you are giving off a very bad vibe and a very bad frequency, and you attract a similar frequency. If you guys don't believe me, there is a test where जहाँ पे वो दो tongs उन्होंने रखे थे, same frequency वाले, दोनों vibrate करते हैं 440 hertz पे, तो उन्होंने सिर्फ एक को बजाया और इसकी vibration से ना दूसरा वाला हिलने लग गया, ठीक है? So that's what the power of the frequency is. Your body is energy, man. Like you don't get it. Really, really think about energy on an atomic level. Really, really think about the particles at the atomic level, right? आप लोगों ने साइंस में पढ़ा होगा ना कि अगर आप मैटर को ब्रेक डाउन करते जाओ, ये मैटर है, इसको ब्रेक डाउन करो into smaller, into smaller, into smaller, into smaller, and like dot maybe millions and millions of अंदर आप जाओ तो you have an atom. एक atom होता है, उसके अंदर न्यूक्लियस होता है, right? और न्यूक्लियस के अराउंड घूम रहा होता है इलेक्ट्रॉन. नाउ इलेक्ट्रॉन और न्यूक्लियस में इतना डिस्टेंस होता है जितना एक पूरी फुटबॉल फील्ड के अंदर आई बिलीव लाइक एक पूरी अमेरिकन फुटबॉल फील्ड हो ना, उसके अंदर एक डॉट होगा या बॉल होगी, ठीक है? उतना ज्यादा उन दोनों के अंदर होता है. सो बेसिकली 99.9% of the space in an atom is empty space, right? Like think about it for a second. It's all an empty space. What does that empty space consist of? Energy, vibrations, frequency. So if you really think about it, like water, we humans can change into whatever we want, right? But to attract that same thing, that same frequency that you want to be in, you need to channel that within. You need to be that person before you become that person, and you need to be a person of a giving nature to receive the gifts of God, right? You need to practice gratitude. And then another thing following that thought is daily affirmations. This is very important in the life of sales, and this is very important in the life of business, and really important in the life of success, right? And one thing I want to say before I talk about daily affirmation is whatever the mind of a man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. That's simple. It really is, right? Every day मैं तुम लोगों को चाहता हूँ कि तुमने ये करना है. This is the 12th thing I'm going on is every day say to yourself, and write it down if you can, but at least say to yourself every day, I like myself, and keep on saying that. I like myself. I am the best at what I do. वो शाहरुख खान का गाना नहीं था? I am the best. I am the best. Really, like, you know, once you start saying that over and over again, like your subconscious starts acting like that. I really mean it. When I say
I'm the best mentor in the subcontinent, right? I really mean it. I really believe I'm the best mentor, and I really believe I'm one of the smartest people out there. Like, I'm not kidding you. When if I keep on saying that to myself, eventually that will be more truer than however much true it is right now, right? Like, and then you need to say, I'm the best at what I do. Money comes to me from multiple streams of income. I am healthy. Even when you're sick, say that I am healthy. I'm a successful entrepreneur in the making. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. जब आप आगे इन मॉड्यूल्स में फ्यूचर में जाओगे, जब आप क्लाइंट एक्विजिशन पे जाओगे, सेल्स कॉल्स वाले राउट पे जाओगे, कोई भी आप अपना स्किल चूज करोगे, बिफोर you're about to get on a call with the client, say these affirmations. Say, I like myself. I like myself. I like myself. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Keep on saying that, right? Like, nobody in this life will pump you up to the level which you can do to yourself. And I really mean it. You need to do that. I'm not joking around. This really works. And then lastly, failure is not an option, right? This is what you need to believe and this is what you need to think. You need to walk and talk like this. Like, failure is not an option. Stick to your plan daily and never waver despite emotion. Jo marzi emotion aa raha hai, theek hai? Like anything, emotion, drama, failure, uncertainty, whatever comes, theek hai? There might be a time where you fall down, something really bad happens, but be a yo-yo, bounce back, catch yourself over and over and over and over again until it becomes a second nature. Create relentless persistence, right? Like, oh, next time you go and catch yourself going to the phone apps, like, resist, right? Next time you feel like तुम्हारे दोस्त कोई तुम्हें बुला रहे हैं कि इधर चलते हैं, उधर चलते हैं, करते हैं, फजूल का जो तुम्हारे सक्सेस से मैच नहीं कर रहा, तुम्हारी रोड से, तुम्हारे गोल से लाइन नहीं हो रहा, resist, say no, right? Become a no man. Like, resist everything, and even if you go back, get back on the game. Don't think of yourself that अगर एक दफा तुम चूक गए that you have completely lost the game. No, you have not. You only lose the game once you think you lose the game. And I'm not shitting you right now. Nowadays, I'm even scared to say bad affirmations to myself. Like, words have meaning. Words are spelling, the letter spelling. Like, really look at it. Like, etymology mein agar aapne padha ho, spelling, where did that even come from? Words are spells. So when you say bad shit to yourself, oh, I'm not a good public speaker, oh, I'm a very shy person, oh, I'm this, I'm not confident, oh, I'm very bad, with something, jo bhi hoga. You keep on saying that and you actually become that person. So fuck that, right? Like, really, like, the only thing you should be scared of God and saying negative things to yourself. Don't even write them down, right? I know you want to bitch and moan to somebody, and I know probably you're thinking like, yeah, lekin main kisse dukh bukh share karunga. If you want to share, okay, that's fine. You can share it to your wife if you have, to your husband. That's fine. I'm not saying कि don't share, like जो भी तुम life की मुश्किलात से गुजर रहे हो, that's fine. But don't think of yourself as someone who cannot do it. That's a completely different thing. Like, it shouldn't even cross your mind. Remember, no one does this list above to perfection, right? But we are not here to be perfect. We are here to show up every day despite the circumstances. By showing up every day, we reach close to perfection, and that's what we want. Even I don't do this list to perfection, I'm telling you. But I see this list every day, and whenever I am going off the track, I will look at this list and I come back to it like a yo-yo, right? And this is what you need to be.
Now we're gonna go to part 3, which is sacrifice, giving it all to win. Dekho, here's the brutal truth about life. Success is equal to sacrifice. And I know मैंने अभी पीछे भी बात की थी, but that is the honest truth. And the thing is, you can't have it all. And if you don't sacrifice for your goal becomes a sacrifice, like I said previously. And what do I mean by you can't have it all? Well, what I really mean is कि बहुत से आपको गुरुज, बहुत से आपको लोग कहते हैं आप जिंदगी में हर चीज हासिल कर सकते हो, हर चीज. खैर, मैंने भी अभी आपको बताया कि आप कोई भी चीज कर सकते हो, बट कोई भी चीज हासिल करना और हर चीज हासिल करने में बहुत ज्यादा फर्क है. And when I say हर चीज, that means that you cannot achieve your goals and also do all the shit that you're doing right now. You have to let go of some things even if it hurts, right? You can't have it all. Like, even in business, even in skills, even in approaching a certain niche of clients or a market, you can't have it all. You need to choose one and you need to stick to it. A lot of people, they have a problem with stickability, and I cannot blame them with the, जो माशरा हमारा है आजकल का, like, it's a constant stimuli. You jump from one place to another and to another, and like, it's endless. Like, आज तुम्हें कोई और business plan नजर आता है, कल तुम्हें कोई और business plan नजर आता है, परसों तुम्हें कोई और आएगा, like, शादी में भी यही अब चवलियां शुरू हो गई हैं, बल्कि बहुत पहले से हो रही हैं, ever since the dating game began. And I was a victim of that too. Like, it used to
to be simpler because there was not a lot of choices. People would marry someone and stick to that damn thing, even if there was bad days. At least, the marriage used to survive. And so you think the US is a really great system, but when I went to college, like 7 out of 10 friends that I met were, from divorced parents, right? Because it is the illusion of choice, right? And it's the illusion of you can have it all, but you cannot have it all. You need to put focus on one thing and sacrifice the others to really achieve the goals that you desire, right? So number one is, how bad do you want it? Like, this is what will distinguish you from lazy, ambitious people, and I really mean it. Like the one you want to avoid at all cost. Ye lazy, ambitious log, sabse khatarnak. They talk about big game and say they're hungry, but as soon as you get to sacrifice something they care about, they reveal their true character and their true priorities. They want you to sacrifice it all, yet ride the wave for free. That's why they're really dangerous people. And I'm sorry to say, if you're one of them, you need to cut that shit out, really. You cannot be ambitious but lazy, right? And then number two is, sacrifice fuels the fire, right? Imagine there's a fire burning red and hot, but then every time you add another shit into your life that doesn't take you towards your goal, ye jo aapki jo aag hai, jo jal rahi hai, it dims that flame. And what will make that flame brighter is every time you take out or every time you sacrifice, and the piece that you're sacrificing from your life, you throw it into the fire. The more sacrifices you throw into that fire, the bigger it burns and the brighter and hotter it gets, right? And I'm going to talk about this concept. This is a really fun concept and it'll blow your mind. I'll talk about it in part 4. But मैं भी इसके बारे में इसलिए बात करूं ताकि आप उसके लिए prepare हो जाओ. But every time you sacrifice something, it's like taking that thing, all your thoughts about it, and throwing it on a fire. The energy from that thing makes that thing burn brighter and hotter, right? You need to do that, right? And I'll tell you what to sacrifice in a bit. Winners, winners, they sacrifice everything. Koi bhi goat ko tum study kar lo, the greatest of all time in any industry, and see what they sacrificed to win. They gave up everything. They dedicated their entire being, their entire existence to the relentless pursuit of the goal. I mean, if you study Michael Jordan or Cristiano Ronaldo or any of these guys, Cristiano Ronaldo, uski ek bahut baat mashhoor thi ki he would show up on the field the earliest and leave the latest out of all the players, and even when he was the greatest, he would still do that. It will never stop. It's like a system. It's a habit that he built. It's relentless because he knows that if he doesn't sacrifice the other things, then his goal, his status will become the sacrifice. With Michael Jordan, uske saath masla ye hua tha, he started taking too many sponsorships, too many brand deals. He started doing too much shit out of the box that wasn't really related to basketball. And eventually he started seeing himself fall off. And then really when he started thinking about it, he was like, man, either I can do all of this shit and lose the status of greatest of all time, or I can sacrifice this, throw it into the fire, and go back to the game, right? And keep on winning and keep my status while the companies that want to work with me, they keep chasing me, right? And eventually when I retire, I can do all of this shit. But right now, when I'm healthy, I need to focus on the game. I need to be in love with the game. And that's what it really takes. Now, me personally, I gave up most of my social life, right? Now, I have a big social life now because I built myself to some extent, but still I haven't achieved what I really want to achieve yet. So I still prioritize my social circle very, very carefully. Like, I don't have any bums as friends. I'm going to be honest with you. All of my friends back from high school that I thought were great and once, yeah, they're not doing that great. And you can call me egoistic, you can call me whatever you want, but that's the utter truth. Like, I have my friend, एक बहुत मेरा अच्छा दोस्त होता था, लेकिन literally आज तक वो निब्बा निब्बी वाले सीनों में फंसा हुआ है. इस एज पे आके अपनी बंदी से 2-3 घंटे फोन पे बात कर रहा है, वीडियो कॉल पे खा रहे हैं, सो रहे हैं. I mean, खुदाया और कोई काम नहीं है, बैठ के एक दूसरे को देख के सो रहे हैं फोन पे. मतलब what the like really, if you hang out with people like those, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, तुम भी सो रहे होगे निब्बी के साथ फोन पे. Like, you don't want to do that. It really wears off on you, right? So either you give up most of your social circle or choose your friends wisely, right? Every waking hour, I was thinking about business when I was building it, and still I'm building my business and I want to make it multi-million dollars, right? And every waking hour, even now I do it. I gave up all the unhealthy habits, including smoking, which was the toughest for me. And then gaming. I love gaming. I always loved video gaming. I always loved watching anime. I quit watching anime, movies, and dedicated full intensity to work. Every dollar I have is invested now into Inner Circle, into the solar company I partnered up with, into my AI company that I partnered up with, Tracer Labs. every dollar is going back into that. I'm all in. All the chips are in. And that's how you need to operate, man. Now, finding things to sacrifice, right? I need you to do this exercise. So for the next 3 days, what you're going to do is after you write your dream goals, right? What you're going to do is you're going to track what you do every 30 minutes. Like really, एक alarm रखो अपने phone पे और in the waking hours, right? Like जो 12-14 घंटे तुम उठे होते हो, 30 minutes का alarm लगाओ और एक छोटी सी notebook हाथ में रख लो अपने pen और pencil के साथ. And write down it in a journal, right? Like the little notebook. What you're doing, like track every 30 minutes what you did. And at the end of the 3 days, categorize activities into buckets and then calculate how much time went to each bucket, right? So by bucket, I mean like bucket would be entertainment, food, exercise, positive thoughts, business, building yourself up. Like you can make categorize different buckets and then put those activities in the buckets, right? And then after those 3 days, what you're going to do is you're going to sacrifice every activity that isn't related to your goal, eliminate it completely. I don't care about your feelings. If you want to win, you'll get rid of it. And I know like you're probably thinking, oh man, but you're like, this is bullshit. अभी तुम्हारे दिमाग में सोच रहे होगे कि but वो जो मैं करता था, जाता था, निब्बा निब्बी से बातें करता था, ये होता था, like, get rid of it. If you want to hang on to your little thing, then do it. But just so you know, it'll cost you everything, right? But I can't. I can hear you saying it already. And I know it's bullshit. You can't get rid of it. You don't want to and you're scared, right? You created a lie in your head that this little thing is necessary and it's your need and business. You don't need it, right? Like, some people are so scared that they won't even write their goals. They won't even tell, like they won't even say it out loud. They're like too scared, right? And I know why they're scared, because they think that if they write it down, they'll be obliged to complete that. But isn't that the best thing that you can do? Like really think about it. Like अगर तुम अपने आप को accountable नहीं करोगे तो फिर कौन करेगा? पान वाला या वो नान वाला तुम्हारे मोहल्ले का कौन करेगा? Right? The person that love you the most in your life could be your parents, could be your partner, could be your siblings. Even they won't care, right? So who's gonna care then, right? So stop bitching about life. Stop creating this lie in your head that you can't do it, because you can, right? Write your goals. Be confident about it. If you really want something, don't be a wuss. Write it down and hold yourself accountable. In fact, I tell my goals to people, at least the people that matter to my life. I tell them and I tell them I'm gonna achieve it and I'm not scared. जब तक जान है तब तक जहान है, ठीक है? And now, when it comes to sacrifice, you might be thinking, even my family? Not your wife, of course not. Your kids, your parents, your siblings, or your health. These you won't sacrifice. Now, obviously, if your parents could be toxic, your siblings could be toxic, and if they're coming in the way of your goal, then yes. But I don't mean like eliminate them like Goro ki tarah, but just avoid them, right? Don't tell them about your plans, right? Don't even tell them about your goals. Only tell and share your goals with the people that really concern you, that really you care about, right? But yeah, like I have a wife, I have a kid, and a lot of my time in the day goes to them, right? And if you're single, you have no excuse really. Like what is your excuse? Like हर चीज में कहीं ना कहीं आपका excuse आ जाता है. Exam हो गए, ये हो गया, वो हो गया. But what the fuck you want to do then in your life? Do you really want it or not? Like why did you even come to this? Like do you want it or not? Sacrifice, right? If you really believe that this shit that you're doing is not taking you anywhere, sacrifice. Throw it in the fire. I'm being dead ass. You've given all your life to other bullshit and now you're here and then you don't even want to give like 3 months to this. Then you're not ready, right? So yeah, you still need sleep, you need food, you need exercise and a loving relationship. Of course you do. You can't sacrifice that, right? I mean, without these things, what is even the point of you living? You will end up harming your limbic system, right? Your unconscious system, right? And it will drive you mad. You will spend time with them, but less. You will. Lekin categorize. Now, I do spend time with my wife and my kid, but really my wife is amazing. And if she's not here, it will drive me crazy because of how much time my kid demands. Aiz enjoy mera beta. He is 19 months now and she takes care of so much of the house, cleans, cooks food, does her university stuff as well. And if she doesn't prepare meals for me, you know how much time I will lose? Like, I'm not even joking. Like, you guys don't think about it. The death by 1,000 cut concept that I talked about, like even her preparing food for me once, that saves me so much time because I don't even have to think about that shit. Her preparing food for Aizen 3 times a day and then, like getting him ready, keeping all of these things, that's a big blessing. There's some women in here who have kids. It's my salute to you, right? We're really doing amazing. But still, if you really want this bad, if you really want to get yourself out of poverty, then you need to build a system and you need to build a proper time frame of making time for this thing that you're doing. You really need to do it. Otherwise, it's all for naught, right? Now, having said all of this, I'm going to go to part 4, which is very, very, very important, right? Now, अब आपके पास ये सारी चीजें तो आ गई, आपको पता चल गया कि अच्छा कि आपने सैक्रिफाइस क्या करना है, आपने अपना गोल कैसे बनाना है, डिसिप्लिन कैसे बिल्ड करना है, but really you have all of this energy that you're building up, but how are you going to channel that focus? And I've made this really beautiful diagram which I will leave in the files below, and I want you guys to actually print it out if you can and paste it on your wall, because this is something you're going to keep coming back to. This is about channeling your focus, right? So I'm going to break these down bit by bit down below, but let's just go quickly over this, right? So let me zoom in so you can see it clearly, right? So first thing is first, input, right? The inputs that you give to the flame to build out your energy, right? And then once you build out that flame, that energy, you're gonna channel that into, like, you know, this anime character I got from this reference from Jujutsu Kaisen, like, you know, वो एक तीर बना रहा है अपनी आग की energy को harness करके, right? So that's the process of channeling that energy. And then your target, this is your business, your output, the results, where you're gonna be focusing this energy on, right? So you could not be a business and entrepreneur yet while watching this video, and that's fine. But this system that I'm giving you, this is applicable to everything in life. Whatever your goal, your vision is. You want to be better at sales, you want to be better at appointment setting, you want to be better at running ads, you want to be better as a service provider, you want to be better at anything in life that will make you money, then this is your formula right here, right? Channel that process and then fire it off to your outputs, right? The outputs that really matter, your business, right? Operations, prospecting, product, customer, marketing, sales team, right? You really need to focus on this. And then whatever feedback you give, you make adjustments accordingly. And then you either take some out or did you added some out, right? To keep that fire burning, and then so on and so forth. You keep going back in circles. And every time you get a feedback, your fire burns more brighter and more hotter. And then you channel that energy. And as a result, your output grows bigger and bigger and bigger. And then again and again and again, right? So let me break it down individually. What do I really mean by this? So first off is input, right? Let me just zoom this out. So the first thing is your vision, mission or principle जिसकी हमने बात की है, right? तुम्हें एक clear long-term goal चाहिए to keep your fire alive, ठीक है? You can't target a goal without knowing where to aim at. That will dim your fire, जैसे मैंने तुम्हें कहा था. अगर तुम्हारे पास target नहीं है, तो फिर तुम हवा में तीर जहां मर्जी चला लो, तुम्हें नहीं पता वो कहां जाके लगेगा और वो तुम्हारी आग को कम कर देगा, right? It's all about this fire, remember. You need to keep this fire alive and you need to keep it burning hot and bright. So for that, you need your vision and your principles and your goal, right? Clear goals and time management. So here you state exactly what your goals are for this year, ठीक है? तुमने state करना है कि तुम्हारे इस year के goal क्या हैं, this month, this week and this day. तुमने map करना है exactly what I'm going to do in my waking hours. It helps greatly and it helps to keep your fire burning, right? You need to be in the flow. And how are you going to be in the flow? By constantly tracking what you need to do. And we have talked about this before, right? And then self-awareness and future self, right? So being aware of your baseline self, जैसे मैंने तुम लोगों को बताया था कि तुम्हारी एक baseline है, like मैंने तुम्हें बताया था where you are in your baseline, right? You need to be aware of that at all times. And as you're getting better and better, your baseline is moving up and up and up and up. But you need to be aware of that all the time, right? And then being aware of your future self too, of who you want to become, right? तुम अपनी baseline को ऊपर कैसे लेके जाओगे जब तुम्हें पता ही नहीं है कि ऊपर तुम्हारा कौन सा future self बैठा है, right? Again वो aiming वाली बात आ गई. So if you need to bring this baseline upwards, you need to know who you want to become so that you have a new baseline. And then you have a new baseline and then you have a new baseline, right? So that's very important. So set a baseline for yourself and see if you're going above it or below it, right? But always keep a normal baseline to track this. It's very important because if you don't know if you're going below this or up above this, तुम अपने आप को पागल कर दोगे. And that's where anxiousness really builds because you don't know who you are. You don't know where you're at in life. And that's why you don't know if you're going down or you're going up until it's too late, right? Until like 5 years down the line, it's like, oh, like मैं तो अभी भी निब्बी से बैठ के 3-3 घंटे बातें कर रहा हूँ और मेरे दोस्तों ने तो बिजनेस खड़े कर लिए because you were not aware of the fact that where you were in life you didn't have a baseline, and that's important, right? And then self-discipline and control. ठीक है? What do I mean by that? Every day you have things that are trying to get your attention, like all the time. ठीक है? रोज जैसे हमने बात की, रोज ऐसी चीजें तुम्हारी जिंदगी में आती है हर वक्त, like constant attention, like हजारों लाखों लीचेस हैं जो तुम्हारी attention लेने की कोशिश कर रहे होते हैं. It tries to catch on to you. तो अपने आग को अगर तुमने नहीं बुझाना, you need to really like police yourself, right? People want you to care about their feelings. They'll be coming to you. They'll be wasting your time. Especially the time wasters, man, the lazy ambitious friends, the friend circle that have nothing going for themselves. Yeah, honestly, just say no to them. No, 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 no. Like, you know, like the more no's you do, the more brighter your flame is gonna burn. You need to focus on what is important and the things that are not important. You know, you're constant checking on the phone, constant checking what's going on in the world. Like even if you know, like, you know, what is going on in the world, वगैरह वगैरह, ठीक है, self awareness आ जाएगी, उसके बाद तुम क्या कर लोगे? So isn't it better to channel your energy and your focus in becoming the best version of yourself and being influential in life, so you are capable enough to make a change in society, right? Isn't that better? So again, yeah, like anything that's slowing you down, remove it, cut it off. Nibba nibbi wale scene bhi, मैं genuine बता रहा हूँ. If you really need love badly, get married. Like, I'm being dead ass. Stop wasting time otherwise. Become a nomad. And I know this might hurt a lot of people who are in relationships, and you might be saying, Musa bhai, it is hypocritical. Like, you were in relationship. I really wish I wasn't. But, you know, like, I really wish there was somebody taught me all of these things beforehand, right? Or agar tum abhi hoi, to get yourself married, really, like, because, like, whatever you're building with your nib or your nibbi, if you're just doing it for fun, then you don't have anything foundational, right? What the are you building this love on? There's no, like, कोई जमीन नहीं है, कोई like हवा में उड़ रहा है ये प्यार, right? बाद में जाके अगर तुम सैयद की फैमिली से निकला है और वो, you know, कोई और फैमिली से निकला है, चुगताई की फैमिली से, all the love that you're building, right, is gonna come crashing down because there's no foundation there, right? And love is not chummiyon wala love or nibba nibbi wala love. I know I'm being a little frank here, but I'm being serious. Love is sacrifice, right? So really, if you can't find love, and really if nibba nibbi scene is taking your time, I'm being dead ass, eliminate it. And then clean food and daily exercise, very important, right? Like, if you eat bad food, it harms your energy. Good food जो होता है ना, it burns a cleaner flame. आपने नोटिस किया होगा ना, जब आप ऐसा खाना खाते हो जो ज्यादा आपके मैदे पे, आपके जिगर पे हेवी नहीं होता, आपको कितना अच्छा फील होता है, आप लाइट फील करते हो. You know what is really happening is your body is having an easier time digesting that food, and the easier time your body has digesting that food, the more energy it can give to your brain, and the more energy your brain has, the brighter and cleaner your flame will burn. And that's what we need focus, right? So ये जो पाकिस्तानियों को हमारे को होता है ना, ओ भाई तुम लोहड़ी और तुम यार वो मसाले नहीं खाते, shut the fuck up. Like, you know, like, okay, if you like spicy food and shit, like be my guest, but really you need to drop that stimuli. Like, if you want to fail in life, keep on eating spicy shit and things with like a lot of stimulus, right? What you're really doing is you're dopamine maxing, and that's not good, right? Like, think about it this way. Whenever you get sick, right, फिर जब sick होके आप अच्छे होते हो, तो वही जिंदगी जो आपको इतनी ब्लैंड लग रही होती, कितनी खूबसूरत लगने लग जाती है. Why? Because you dropped your dopamine levels down. You dropped your baseline for your dopamine. And now every little thing you do seems fun. So really drop down your expectations for food and really eat something that's easier on your stomach, easier on your body. Like, I'm being for real. And like, honestly, if you can, like, drop it down to one or maximum twice meal a day, right? And then meditation and mindfulness, right? That's also very important. You need to be connected with your inner self. You need to be, like, every day you need to process what happened to your life. You need to be in touch with your body, with your soul, okay? And then praying as well. And then sacrifice and go all in financially, okay? Throw everything that isn't necessary to the goal into the fire, right? The fire will burn clean and strong, and it's going to burn red hot. जो चीज तुम्हारे काम की नहीं है, इसमें थ्रो कर दी, ठीक है? And it's gonna burn brighter and brighter, okay? Now, once you have all of this energy, like, you know, इतनी energy आ गई कि तुम आग में जल रहे हो, right? एक clean flame के अंदर जल रहे हो. But where do you channel that energy? And that's where we come to processing and channeling that energy, right? Like something like this. So, number one thing you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be writing down what's your number one priority for the long-term vision, right? So, like, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the number one priority right now out of all the priorities you have, and Terminator की तरह लॉक कर लो उस चीज के ऊपर, and then just you forget about everything else and you lock onto it and you don't get up until you finish that thing. And you know what happens when you do that? Your creativity pushes through. right? When you really sit at a task, right, you come across multiple problems and you try to solve that problem is when your creativity gets pushed, right? So if you want to be more creative, because you will need creativity when you're making offers, when you're selling to your prospects, when you're making ads in the future, when you're building a business, creativity is everything. And to push that, you really need to lock on and solve problem one by one. You know, जिस तरह बिल्ली नहीं अपने टारगेट को देखती तो वो अक्सर रोड पे भी जा रही होती तो देखती भी नहीं है कि गाड़ियां कहाँ आ रही हैं, उतना फोकस तुम्हें चाहिए, ठीक है? That's very important. And then again, remove all stimuli. You need to channel that energy, right? So number one priority, put all your focus there. सारे stimuli को हटा दो. Now, it's gonna be really hard to focus, but to remove the stimuli, just think opposite of the focus, which is distraction, right? So remove that and your focus becomes the default. जो distraction तुम्हें नजर आ रही है अपनी जिंदगी के अंदर, उसको हटा दो. In fact, keep everything at your desk that you need. Keep the phone out of sight. Keep tabs unopened. Any requests that aren't related to survival, जैसे कि nature call आ गई, कोई family का मसला आ गया, या तो coffee पीनी पड़ गई बीच में, या बहुत mission critical आ गया business के अंदर that it needs your attention. Okay, fine. Go ahead and do that. But apart from that, you don't get your ass off the table, right? अपना चार्जर, फोन चार्ज करना है, वहीं पे चार्जर रखो. पानी पीना है, वहीं पे पानी रखो. Like everything stupid that you need, keep it near your desk and keep your desk clean again, right? But anything that you think you can need, in fact, सिर्फ एक चीज है जो आप वाकई आपको उठना पड़ता है, वो बाथरूम है. अब मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि अपने सीट के नीचे टॉयलेट लगा लो, but really what I'm saying is, okay, of course you need to get up for that. ठीक है, अगर आप बच्चों वाली हैं, बच्चों वाले हैं, you need to get up for your baby and stuff like that. Of course you need to. But apart from that, if it's not mission critical for your business and your family and it's not urgent to nature's call, you don't get up, ठीक है? And that's how you're gonna really be doing 12 hours of work a day. I'm not kidding, right? And then requests that are aligned to your goal, say no, ignore it, right? Only deviate if it's necessary for survival, ठीक है? Now, यहाँ हो गया channeling का. अब जब आप channeling करोगे, उससे आएगा आपको output और आपको आएगा result, right? So when you really get that fire burning hot and then you channel it at the right place, right? So you channel it at the right place, then your action becomes really focused to the thing that matters, right? Intensity focused action, and then you focus on completing things, right? You don't leave things half-assed. And this is something my father used to tell me too. बेटा जो काम शुरू कर दिया ना जिंदगी के अंदर उसको पूरा करो. Make sure you complete that. And that's something that stick with me until now, right? So maybe उनको नहीं पता था इन concept के बारे में, or where is it even coming from, but I'm just putting it out there in this concept, right? So again, very, very, very important for you is that you need to be completing things, and the only way you're going to be completing things is if you get the above two right, okay? And that's how you're going to get solid results, and that's how you're going to be making progress. And then feedback adjustments, right? So whatever results you get, you're going to be measuring it and seeing if it's up to the merit, right? So either, for example, अगर एक चीज में तुम्हारा रिजल्ट बहुत अच्छा आ गया है, ठीक है, like तुमने एक चीज में थोड़ा इनपुट दिया, कम इनपुट दिया, लेकिन आउटपुट बहुत ग्रेट आया, what you need to do is you're going to increase that thing. You're going to put more energy into that thing as a feedback. और जिस चीज में तुमने बहुत इनपुट दे दिया और आउटपुट बहुत कम आया, remove that completely and entirely, right? And like make combinations of things, automate stuff. It's very, very important, right? Measure results against baseline and goals. Like variable combination banao what works and what doesn't work, right? So really what I'm telling you to do is first you need to find ways to eliminate something that is not working or something that is not important towards your business or towards your goals, ठीक है? उसके बाद if they cannot be eliminated, you automate them, right? You find a way where you need to put the least amount of inputs to get the most amount of output, right? And इसकी भी मैं बात करता हूँ why I say that. And then the third thing is if you can't do that as well, or you've done that and still you need more time, then you outsource it, right? And again, you outsource it, and then as an entrepreneur, you focus on the things that will move your business above the baseline, right? So then you take the feedback and you go back to this fire, and then you make it burn brighter and hotter than it was before, right? But again, if you take the wrong feedback, right? So for example, कुछ लोग क्या करते हैं, I think I'm going to talk about this later. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this later, but just a quick thing is some people, what they do is they hit one-hit wonders, and once they do that, they become lazy, right? They become lazy, and then they उनको होता है कि पैसे बना लिए, बहुत अच्छा काम कर लिया, and they start pulling out the money, and they stop doing the shit that really got them there. And that means that even though their energy was good, they processed it right, they hit the target, target. But what happened is they took the wrong feedback. And when they took the wrong feedback, the next time their flame was dimmer, right? And this arrow was half. So when they hit the target, the outputs were not as good. You get what I'm saying, right? So very important, right? Feedback is very, very important. For example, जब आप cold calling कर रहे हो, reaching out to prospects, you might have a combination of steps, right? आपने देखा होगा कौन सी चीज चल रही है, कौन से openers चल रहे हैं, कौन से openers नहीं चल रहे. Take that feedback, like have a metric, right? Like measure everything, measure your openers, write them down, right? Maybe do A/B testing. एक prospect को कोई और opener दिया और एक को कोई और दिया, and measure which one is working and then go along with that, right? But don't just fucking like wing it out and just do whatever your heart desires. Again, without a goal, then we go back to that thing. Without a clear goal, without self-awareness, without having a baseline, you don't know where you're going, right? It's like you're walking in a Sahara desert without knowing where you started, right? Without knowing where you want to head. And what happens when you do that? You keep walking and walking and walking and walking, और होता क्या है, या तो तुम अपने baseline से जो तुम्हारा starting point है, उससे तुम बहुत इधर-उधर चले जाते हो, या तो तुम उससे बहुत पीछे चले जाते हो. मतलब अपने starting point से भी पीछे चले जाते हो, because you have no direction, right? You're just walking anywhere, right? So if you don't track your progress, if you don't track your baseline, what's going to happen is you're going to break the system. You're really going to break this whole system. And once you break that system, yep, anxiety is going to come in, everything's going to come crashing down. And again, you are going to be way below your baseline without you even knowing it, which is the worst part. Because if you don't know where you went wrong, you can never fix that. Okay? So again, this is very, very important. I want you guys to print it off. जो मैंने बातें यहाँ पे चीजें लिखी ना वो मैंने उसी के ऊपर लिख दी हैं, so that you can read it over and over again. ठीक है? And then you can, like, I need you to put in and attach it to your wall, your dream list, and then this thing. This is very, very important, right? Put it in your wall, put it in front of your computer, and every time you're going wrong with your system, you need to come back and look at this. ठीक है? Now, one thing I need you to focus on is the equation of result, right? The power of focus, which is results equals to energy times focus. So what I really mean by that is जो आपका focus है ना, this focus, it is a multiplier of energy. Now what is the energy? Energy is that flame that you were burning, right? At the start, this flame, right? That you're burning. And then your focus is the channeling. So a lot of people, they might have a lot of energy, like, you know, full of energy, full of motivation, discipline bhi hai, sab kuch hai. But, you know, sometimes they don't have a clear focus. They're doing multiple tasks at once. You know, 10 businesses उन्होंने खोले हुए हैं, 10 channels वो चला रहे हैं, like, you know, 10 clients को handle करें at one time without a proper system. So what's going to happen? Their focus is going to be divided. So if their energy is 10 and their focus is 1, they're going to get 10. But if their energy is 10 and their focus is 10, what do they get? 100. So 10 times more of that, right? And then another great thing about focus is there are going to be days where your energy is going to be low, right? So kabhi kabhi hota hai, your body energy, not even the energy that you build over here, something really bad happen. But when you have good focus, well, like let's say your energy is at a 5, but if your focus is still 10, you can still get 50, right? And let's say there are some really bad days, right? That days that where like jahan pe tumhe yo-yo ki tarah wapas aana pad raha hai, right? And you're still going towards that, but you're having a bad day there, right? Then your energy could be 1, but your focus could still be 10. At least you still be at 10, right? But really what we're trying to do is 10 out of 10 on both, so we can get 100 metric. That's very, very important, right? So another law I want you guys to really, really focus on, jiski main baat piche kar raha tha, is remember, input is not equal to output, right? This is not Newton's third law. This is different. Newton's third law, and to every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. Yes, but input and output is a completely different thing, right? So for example, when you waste your time at social media, right? You keep on scrolling, you watch your Netflix movies, you watch all of this crap, and then the time you could have been, you know, using to build something. So you give all of that time, all of your attention and so much input to it, but what output are you getting, right? Nada, 0, maybe 1 out of 100. Maybe you learned a few lessons, a few quotes, and that's good for you. But what are you doing with that shit, right? But look at how much time and energy you're investing. You're literally having conversations about those things to your friends. Like, if that isn't clear enough, then I don't know what will be, right? Like, you're literally living the embodiment of those shows, right? ये वो example भी आ जाती है ना कि, you know, like the example of a donkey owning the farm, right? वो कहते हैं ना कि if hard work equal to success, then the donkey would own the farm. And that brings us back to this equation right there. Input is not equals to output. You could be giving the best best input of your life, but to a completely wrong thing. And that means the output that you want of, being successful and rich, you won't be getting that because your inputs are wrong. So really, if you think about it, it's all about your inputs, right? Your energy, your inputs, and then the following thing is the focus, but your inputs need to be on point. Okay? So these both go hand in hand, of course, but if you have trash inputs, you're gonna have trash outputs, right? Like your life doesn't depend on outputs. Chat GPT तक को लोग कहते हैं ना, Chat GPT use करके ये करता है वो करता है. Not like I can bet my life on it that not even 5% of people use Chat GPT to full extent. In fact, 1%, because they're just putting garbage in, right? They're just putting things for quick fixes. They're just putting what they know, and Chat GPT acts like a mirror, right? A mirror, and gives them exactly what they want to know, right? So when you put garbage into something, you're gonna get garbage out. That's the law of life. So inputs are very, very important. That's why they don't equal to your output. Like, garbage in and garbage out wali baat hogi, aapko lag raha hoga ki okay, yeah, we put garbage in and garbage out, of course. But again, inputs are not equivalent to outputs, right? The garbage that you put in, you might get a lot of garbage back, way more than you put in, because when you're putting in your inputs, you're also putting your time and your energy, right? So again, आप लोग जब feedback ले रहे होगे ना इस चीज से वापस, तो आपने वो चीज notice करनी है जो आपको minimum amount of input में सबसे ज्यादा output दे रही है. That's how businesses make profit. That's how businesses grow. That's how you really grow in life in general, right? You need to find out ways or automate stuff and build systems which requires the least amount of input for the most amount of output, so you can focus on all the other energy that you were putting there before into new perspectives or into new parts of your business, right? Either it could be operations, it could be your sales team, it could be your customer support, it could be your product, could be your marketing, right? And then obviously ye jo sari cheezein hain, they cannot always be equal. Some might be down, some might be up, but you need to keep a healthy balance so your system stays running, right? And again, that could mean that you need to be taking things out rather than putting in more. Sometimes less is more. You need to remove drag from your life. Now, what we do as humans is, हम business में क्या करते हैं, हमें लगता है यार जितनी more चीजें डाली जाएंगे ना उतना ही काम great होगा. But no, you're just putting way more drag to carry, right? Bruce Lee का जो dialogue है, right? I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but rather I fear a man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. And that sometimes that's what it takes, right? So sometimes you need to take out things that aren't working and focus on the thing that's really working. So really take out the garbage. Don't carry garbage. And it really comes down to this other diagram, right? This converging lens, right? So यहाँ पे मैं क्या बात कर रहा हूँ कि जो तुम्हारी सारी एनर्जी है, जो तुम्हारी सारी फ्लेम जो तुमने इग्नाइट की हुई है, तुम उसको गुजारते हो अपने फोकसिंग चैनल से. और जब तुम गुजारते हो, so all of that energy comes down to one focal point, one focus point right here. And when it does, what happens? It burns out and it goes ballistic. It goes to different parts and then, dhoom mat jati hai. But imagine if your diagram was something like this, right? So it's this and then you have multiple focus points. Kuch yahan hai, kuch yahan hai, kuch yahan hai, kuch yahan par hai, kuch yahan par hai. What's going to happen? Some are going to go here, some are going to go here, some are going to go yoon. But really, it's not going to go like this, right? To infinity and beyond. And that's what it really means. So the more you put your focus on the right task, right? The more you put the focus on that single point, the brighter it's gonna burn and the higher it's gonna go out. वो आपने देखा नहीं है कि वो अक्सर करते हैं, वो सूरज की किरण आ रही होती है एक मैग्नीफाइंग ग्लास के थ्रू. तो जब आप उस ग्लास को सूरज की किरणों के आगे रखते हो, राइट? तो ये सूरज है, राइट? ये हम इनर सर्कल का लोगो ले लेते हैं, ये सूरज है, राइट? एंड देन यहाँ से सूरज की लाइट आ रही है और फिर वो एक मैग्नीफाइंग ग्लास होता है, उसकी जब लाइट शाइन करती है तो वो कागज बर्न होने लग जाता है. That's the same concept that's happening right over here, right? And it goes into everything that we've talked about so far. So this is really, really important. I need you guys to really drive this in your head, right? Now, we're done with part 4 and we're going to move on to the final part, which is part 5. Consistency, your unwavering commitment, right? Unwavering commitment towards your goal. Now, all of this focus, this energy, your dreams, your goals, your vision, it's all great, but it's not going to be great if you just do it once or twice, right? So again, जब तुम्हें अमीर लोग या millionaires कहते हैं ना कि when successful people say that consistency is key, they're not wrong. But what they failed to tell you is the process before consistency, which we just talked about in all of this video, right? So once you have that, then consistency becomes your biggest weapon. Now, again, how can the previous step go wrong? Well, when you stop showing up consistently, right? And how do we really define long-term success in the statements above or for our goals or whatever whatever vision you have, right? So again, remember the baseline. So success will be consistent progress towards your vision. That is success. Going above the baseline. That is success. No matter if it's an inch or a mile, right? That you are moving towards your success. Stagnation is this point right here, which is inconsistent progress towards vision. Stagnation is जब आप रुक जाते हो. You go up, you go down, you go up, you go down. Now, you are maintaining at your baseline, which is not bad, but it's not great either. And you don't want to stay here for long. And the third thing where you really don't want to stay is the failure. Oh man, this is no progress towards your vision, right? कोई चीजें तुम फजूल की सारी चीजें कर रहे हो, तुम सुबह उठ रहे हो, फजूल के जर्नलिंग कर रहे हो, फजूल के cold showers ले रहे हो, but it's all without a purpose. It's all without a focus. If you do that, then no matter how good you are at taking cold showers and like, you know, doing all the shit that I tell you, if you don't have a vision, you don't have a baseline, you wouldn't be progressing forward. And, you know, if you don't progress forward, where are you going to go? You're going to go down from your baseline. So that's where failure will occur, right? So कभी-कभी आपको लगता है ना, आप अपने कुछ दोस्तों से मिलते हो और वो good old times की बातें करते रहते हैं, 4 साल 5 साल बाद भी मिलो वही बातें करते रहते हैं. They're really over here. They're falling below their baseline because like most of them do. I bet 99% of them don't even know what their baseline is. That's why they're chaotic, they're anxious, and they're remembering the good old days when, you know, the sun used to shine more brighter, when the flowers, pools zyada khile hote the. Yeah, and they're gonna be stuck there forever if somebody don't comes up and knocks some sense to them, right? So once you really narrow down your focus on the task at hand, और तुम्हें पता है कि ये चीज तुम्हें तुम्हारे baseline से move कर रही है ऊपर, then comes being consistent, right? Again, let me rephrase it. तो एक दफा जब तुम finalize कर लो the things that are really, you know, once you take the feedback, you finalize the things that are really moving you forward towards your goal. Once you realize that, once you channel your energy, once you know, you brighten your flame, you channel your energy and you put the right outputs, once you know what's working, that's when you don't stop. You become consistent. You're in the flow now, right? कुछ लोग होते हैं ना जो one hit wonders मारते हैं, हमारी यार एक बड़ी दुकान थी, बड़ा कारोबार चलता था और फिर, you know, ये हो गया, वो हो गया, and then when you ask them what happened, you know, we just stopped, you know, या हमने दूसरी चीज में invest कर लिया वगैरह, and that's a very idiotic move. They built out a flow, they had a flame, they had the energy, they even had the focus, but consistency killed it, right? खैर भी मैं इसकी बात अभी आगे करता हूँ, but again, really without consistency, you will be back to square one, and that's what happened to those people. So don't break your momentum, or even if you have to break your momentum because of survival, क्योंकि कोई चीज ऐसी आ गई, become a yo-yo and bounce back, right? Keep on going back. That's why I told you guys to put it in front of your wall, right? And then do all those 13 things that I told you to do, right? Over and over and over again. That's what really help your yo-yo to come back, right? So, and another thing I will tell you is don't think of this as a temporary shift. This is not. This is your new lifestyle. जो लोग मोटे होते हैं ना और वो डाइटिंग में बहुत कोशिश कर रहे होते हैं बहुत अरसे से, उनका सबसे बड़ा फ्लॉ पता क्या होता है? They call it a diet. हम डाइट पे हैं. What does that really saying? You know, it says that this is temporary. I'm on a diet right now, but I really want to go back to the shit eating that I used to do before. So once I get, you know, skinny, I will go back to it. And the fun part is most of them don't even turn back to skinny, and then they keep on doing those shitty things unless once, you know, they really change their life. Like they say to themselves, okay, like the food I'm eating now, the healthy habits I have, this is my new life now. This is who I identify as, right? And that's going to be me forever. That's when the change really begins. And that all starts in the mind, right? So one thing before I go towards the end is the performance equation. And again, I will tell you how to stay consistent, right? So performance equation says तुम्हारा जो output है is divided by your input multiplied by time, right? So जितना कम तुम्हारा input होगा और जितना ज्यादा तुम्हारा output होगा और time, जितना time तुम उस चीज को दोगे उतना ही ज्यादा तुम्हारी consistency और performance build होगी over time, right? तो कम से कम input, ज्यादा से ज्यादा output, और जितने भी days को तुम time से multiply करो उतनी तुम्हारी performance और consistency बढ़ेगी, ठीक है? And remember, the greatest factor in this equation is time. Time is very important over here, right? So like you can be a one-hit wonder, but if you lose consistency, and what some people they do and they don't have a system, time will crush them. Time will be their biggest enemy, and it's only a matter of time before a competitor comes in and off them in their sleep, and that happens time and time again because they don't have a proper system of inputs and outputs, right? They don't know how to channel their focus correctly, they don't know how to take the feedback correctly, and they get effed really badly. So 3 things again that I want you guys to know. Never deviate. The number one reason for failure or inconsistency is forgetting the vision and the goal. That's it, right? That's the number one reason for failure. So you need to keep your vision and goal always in front of you. Look at it every day like a maniac, right?
उससे कभी waver नहीं होना. If you forget why you're in business and why you exist, like frankly speaking, you will be inconsistent. You will be choosing any action and do shit on a whim, which you don't want, right? अगर तुम्हें नहीं पता तुम किस direction में जा रहे हो, you will be random and your life will be chaos. And your brain will be chaos, your desk will be chaos, your house will be chaos, your relationship, your marriage, everything will be chaos without a direction. One direction, right? Not the band, the concept. Okay? It's very, very, very important. Very, very, very like imprint it, get it tattooed on your forehead. You need your goals, you need your direction, right? And then how to stay consistent? Don't forget the goal. Keep tracking performance against the baseline and towards your goal. Very, very important. Keep your tracking up. Make an Excel sheet if you have to. ठीक है? Optimize करो अपने inputs जितना हो सके. What do I mean by that? Try to find ways to put the least amount of inputs, quality inputs, to get the most amount of output, right? So the least amount of inputs to get the most amount of outputs in your system. ठीक है? And measuring their effect to the output in pursuit of goal and perfection, right? And then main failure reasons, really, it's people forgetting about the goal, वो distract हो जाते हैं, and they keep adding inputs like extra hobbies, you know, like थोड़ा सा पैसा आता है, आप फजूल चीजों में अपना time invest करने लग जाते हो. And to be very frank with you, I've been a victim of that as well, and something that now I avoid, right? And hobbies के अलावा भी, once you start seeing progress, you start adding shit that doesn't even matter, the shit that didn't even got you there in the first place. You think, okay, you know, for example, आपसे वो कहते हैं ना, बहुत अच्छी आपसे खाना बन जाता है अक्सर, और आप ओवर कॉन्फिडेंट हो कि इसके अंदर और चीजें डाल देते हो. अच्छा यार, अब इसके अंदर मैं ये गरम मसाला भी डाल दूंगा, इसके अंदर मैं भी काली मिर्च भी डाल देता हूँ, इसके अंदर अब मैं ये फ्रूट चाट भी डाल देता हूँ. और like, you know, once you keep adding and adding and adding, like धमाका होता है, you lose track of everything that you were building in the first place, right? And you even lose the thing that made your first dish awesome. You know what makes the best food in the world? And I was studying some of the greatest chefs in the world, and what they really were talking about is the inputs, right? The ingredients. The best chef in the world focus on the best ingredients, right? And for them, it's less. For them, it's bringing out the flavor from each ingredient and making them reach their maximum potential, right? हमारे देसियों में और इधर उधर कभी कभी क्या होता है, इनको खाना नहीं बनाना आता ना, ये शान मसाला भी, नेशनल मसाला भी, चकोतरा भी डाल दिया अंदर, और पता नहीं क्या, मतलब जवित्री भी डल गई, ये भी डल गई, वो भी डल गई, और पता नहीं क्या बन जाता है. But the best food that you eat is really, they focus on ingredients, quality ingredients, and they really let them shine, right? And that becomes the main reason for failure when you keep on adding shitty inputs, right? Or extra hobbies. You take your eyes off the metrics, ठीक है? तुम track करना छोड़ देते हो, और basically you start accepting entropy. What do I mean by that is कि this is just how things are, और जिंदगी है इस तरह की, और बस, you know, जिंदगी एक मुसाफिर खाना है, और ये chaos है, और ये वो, और तुम efficiency पे और entropy पे focus करने लग जाते हो. Remember, it's always avoidable if you keep your eye on the ball 24/7, 365 days. ठीक है? Now, my final thoughts, and really this will drive, you know, my point, and it will hit home, right? So always remember, success is the sum of your human will, right? Your will to win, will to prepare, and will to relentlessly pursue in the face of anything, right? Another quotation that I love and I mentioned before: whatever the mind of a man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. It all starts in the mind, right? That is why mindset is the fundamental core of your success. ठीक है? इसलिए मैं mindset पे इतना focus करता हूँ. And when I tell it to people who are just new to this making money, they think it's I really do mean it. And maybe you guys were one of those too. Like maybe once in your life. I was one of those too. I'm not gonna lie. But once you really get it, that it's all in the mind, a new portal opens up. जिस तरह के मैंने आपके दिमाग का दरवाजा खोला इस वीडियो के बाद, right? और ये सारी जो हमने बात की चीज, ये कहाँ से शुरू हो गई? It's all in the mind, right? So really, the things you will be learning forward to make money all depends on your daily rituals from here on forward, your discipline, your sacrifice, and your consistency, right? जो भी तुम skills के बारे में, client acquisition के बारे में, you know, अपने sales skills के बारे में, और कोई भी चीज के बारे में तुम practice करोगे, it all starts from here. And if your mind is at the wrong place, someone can hand you $1 million and you will lose it in a month. And I'm not kidding, right? बहुत से लोग बड़ी बड़ी बातें करते हैं, अगर हमें सड़क पे पड़े $1 million मिल जाए ना, तो हम ये कर ले, हम वो कर ले. No, you won't. You won't. I'm telling you, it's no joke. If you're not ready to go through trial by fire to become the person worth millions, you won't be able to handle those millions, right? And that's why people stay losers all their life, you know? वो, like, they don't dream about what they want to be. They don't dream about the person who has millions. They dream about a lottery winner, right? They dream about someone कि like हमें रास्ते में बस्ता मिल जाए और उसमें millions पड़े हों. Yeah, you're not a person capable of handling that kind of money, right? You're not a person yet to handle a $5,000 client if you've never done that. And if I hand you those clients, you will
the client's work. I'm telling you right now. So to unlock the gates of heaven, you need to cross hell, right? With the concept of heaven, there's always a hell attached, and you cannot get to heaven without crossing hell. But that's okay, because we now will enjoy the pain, right? क्योंकि हमें सारी चीज से गुजरे हैं, we are now gonna love the pain. We're gonna eat it. We're gonna chew it. We're gonna spit it out, right? And again, before I go, I'm gonna tell you something. You will win. 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 You are a winner. Even if you fall behind, you get stuck learning, you get stuck getting a client, aage jaake, you are not losing. I promise you on my life, you're not losing. You're growing at that point. Just never give up. Success is your only motherfucking option. Failure is not. Remember Eminem ka song? And he wasn't kidding, right? Success is your only option. Failure is not. So guys, with that, let's make money and win the game of life. I'll see you guys in upcoming videos.